Okay, so now that you've clicked onto the video link, we are now going to go onto my cyber wall and continue the lesson. So what people trade? A producer is someone who makes things called products. For example, a farmer is the producer because he produces wheat, which is the product. A supplier is somebody who makes things available, such as a service. And an example of this is a plumber. If you have a broken toilet or a pipe that's burst, or you need a bathroom fitted out with a toilet, a basin, a shower, a bath, etc., if you're doing renovations, the plumber comes in and uses his expertise to make and sort out the pipes and to fit all the equipment up so that you have running water when you flush the toilet or switch on a tap. And then the consumer is someone who uses or consumes the product or the service. So here you can see a lady at the till at a grocery store. She has bought a whole lot of products and she is going to be taking them home so she can consume them. The economic cycle shows us how products and money flow between producers or suppliers and consumers. And if we have a look at this little flow diagram, it will explain it clearly. The lady in the top middle photograph is the producer or the supplier. So she makes wool products using balls of wool. And in this case, the product that she has made is a jersey. So you can see where the arrow goes down and now says goods and services. So that is the goods that she produces. Then the consumer comes along and buys the goods from the producer or the supplier. And an exchange of money takes place. So the consumer pays for the goods that she has bought. And then the money that has been used to pay for the products that the producer has made then gets put back into the business and is used to buy more goods to produce other products. Now, if we take a look at the production process, this is the process of making goods and supplying services. In this process, raw materials are turned into finished products. So in the flow diagram here, you have a cow on a dairy farm. The cow produces milk, which the farmer then extracts from the cow and sends to a factory where it is produced into a variety of different dairy products, such as butter, cheese, yogurt, milk products, powdered milk, ice cream, etc. So basically, the production process is the steps followed to make or produce goods. This process involves inputs and outputs, as shown in the diagram below. So your inputs would be the materials, the labor, capital, which is money, and entrepreneurship. Okay, so these are all the things that you would put into your business. So if we refer back to the cow and the dairy farmer, your input would be the milk that was produced by the cow is sent to a factory. Then you get your production process, and this is where the factory changes the milk into different types of dairy product. So it takes the original product, which is your milk or your primary resource, and it changes it into cheese, butter, yogurt, etc. And then your output will be the finished goods once it has gone through the production process and is changed and packaged into something new, which is then sent to the supermarket to be bought by a consumer. So the supermarket then becomes the supplier. They receive the goods from the factories once they are made, and they supply them to the consumers in order for them to buy. Now, if we look at the example below, these four inputs, the materials, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship, are known as the factors of production. The output is the finished product of the production process. For example, the secondary products that are produced from primary products. There might also be waste products from this process, which we can be recycled, or they can be reused. In the process of producing jam, your inputs would be, first of all, your primary products, which are your raw materials. So, for example, the fruit, depending on what type of jam you are making. If you go and look in the shops, you can see many different types of jams that you can buy. So you could be producing a mixed fruit jam, a strawberry jam, apricots, blackcurrant, and the list goes on. So whatever raw fruit that you are using for the jam, and then obviously you will need sugar as well. Your other inputs are your labor, so the people that are doing the work to change the primary products into a secondary product. So those will be your factory workers. Capital is the money that you need in order to have the products in their primary state, such as, for example, strawberries. So you'll have to have the money to buy them from a farmer. And then you'll have to also have a whole lot of other products that you would have to buy, such as the jars, the machinery that's used to make the actual jam, etc. And then your entrepreneurship, that is the person who has started up and run the business, and he is the owner, and he is responsible for paying the labor, providing the capital in order to pay workers, the farmers for giving them the strawberries that they've bought, buying sugar and any other products that may be needed before they can start the production process. Then the middle stage is the actual process of producing the jam. So once he's got his labor, he's used the money or capital to buy the things that he needs, which are the primary products or raw materials, the whole process then takes place in the factory. Once the end product has been made, so the jam has been made, it has been bottled, that is now your finished product or secondary product, which forms your outputs. Okay, so those are the products that now get sent to the supplier at the shops, and they are sold to the consumers. This is the finished product of a bottle of jam. You also get waste products. So for example, when you're making strawberry jam, the factory workers will remove all the little stalks off the top of the strawberries. There might be excess syrup left over. Once the sugar is melted to make the syrup that gets mixed up with the fruit to make the jam. And there could be any other waste products as well, depending on what product is being made. So sometimes those products can be reused or recycled, and as much as possible, they do try to do that. But there are always going to be some waste products that they cannot reuse again. And those waste products then need to be dumped and got rid of. But where they can do, they will always try and recycle or reuse the things that ended up as waste. We are now going to recap and explain the 4 inputs as factors of production.